Jesus said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth, but I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if someone wants to sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2. Give to the one who asks, and do not turn away from the one who asks.
Like themes where it says basically we'll look at our enemy, the one that doesn't even deserve recognition, and we'll say, you're it? Look how you've fallen, morning star. Anyways, you who once were up there, you've been thrown to the depths. And so in the verse, there's a part where it says, the line was, look how you've fallen, morning star. You once covered the throne in praise. You fake, now look where you are. I will never bow my knee again in sin and shame. Serpent, I've witnessed your defeat, and I know your schemes and your ways. And then it breaks in. And so I was going to have him sing the taunt. He's not a believer in Jesus at all, and he's been a friend of ours for a long time, and so he likes our band. He hates God, and he doesn't like religion. He doesn't really believe in much, but he loved us, and so we asked him if he'd do it. He was like, yeah, I'll do it, and it just did. Logistically, it did not work out because he was recording his record while we were recording ours, and he couldn't get the time. And we didn't want to put him out there because even with their record label, we didn't want him to catch flack because he's not on a Christian label. We didn't want them to get, slammed on for singing on a Christian record, but we appreciated him in friendship saying he'd do it. So we wanted to honor him, but.
But I think that's an awesome thing that you guys would want and him actually want to do it, which is amazing to me. Like, I've been thinking about that for months, and like wow, how awesome would it have been if Mitch from Suicide Silence was on the SG record. And that's just...
It was awesome. I mean, we kept calling him, and in the midst of the process, like, okay, I'm almost done with this session, then I'll try to get over there. I'm almost done, and it just didn't work out. So, anyways, that was kind of a disappointment, because we had in line some more people to do guest vocals, and then we just were under the gun, timing-wise, and we couldn't get them all done, so it was good. So we had Bruce from 100 Demons and Ryan Clark from Demon Hunter, and they came out, and well, Ryan just did them in Seattle, and so... Anyways, it was really awesome. Mitch is an awesome dude. We love him a lot. We want to see the best for them as individuals, and I want them to love God. I want them to see Him for who He is, and then they don't have to like religion. I don't either, but I just want them to know Jesus. So, and He knows that, so it's okay for me to say.
It's awesome. And there's so many stories you guys have. There's so many stories you have. Like I said, on this record, is there any one particular story that is as personal to you? Like on the first record, one of the most personal stories to you is your testimony, Whoremonger. And on this record,
there is. Yeah, this record was difficult because we sensed the vision and the goal, and we put the songs together, and I didn't get to be a part of it the way I wanted to so desperately, but I just couldn't do it. And so it came out in the middle of recording. This song that Bruce sang on, he wasn't going to sing those lyrics until an hour before he went to record. I was in training for my job, sitting there in a training class to keep stuff up to date, and God was like, you better text Eric right now and tell him not to have Bruce sing that stuff because they had one shot with him. And so I'm like, what? And so he started showing me the stuff, and all of a sudden I started writing down everything, and I texted it to Eric, and that's what Bruce sang. So some of the stuff was so last minute. So I was in the recording stuff at my house in Utah, and that's the story, is my wife and daughter and I live in Salt Lake City, and we bought this little condo, like a little apartment to stay at, and this roofer went to fix our house, and they took the roof off and ran out of material just before Labor Day, left for the weekend, and it rained. And it flooded our house, and it like ruined our place. And so this homeowners association told us, we're gonna move you guys into a hotel. It's just gonna take a month. We're gonna box up all your stuff, grab a suitcase, get your gear. We'll get you in a hotel in about a month. You'll be back in your house. Like, all right, it wasn't our fault. We go to the hotel. About a month later, we get another word. Well, it's a little slower than we thought. Just stay here for another month. We should have you out. We're like, all right. A week before Halloween, we get a note under our door. No one filed the insurance claim. No one's paying for anything right now. We've been paying for everyone, all these families, to stay in this hotel. We don't have any money. You can't go home, but you can't stay here, effective Halloween night. So we were effectively homeless, and we didn't do anything wrong. And so we didn't know what to do, man. And gratefully, there was a family at our church that said, we just moved to Texas, and we have this empty condo with nothing in it. No, power's off, water's off, but it's there. If you want, you can go stay there. And so we went there. Like 8 or 9 months later, we're still there. And we're sitting in this empty place, sleeping on air mattresses, living with suitcases, me, my wife, my little 8-year-old girl, and our dog. Totally in transition, not knowing where to go, and no one's helping us out. So we were at the edge of bankruptcy. We were gonna walk away from our house, walk away from all of our stuff. We had no one to help us out. I had the news calling me. Are you sure this is really happening? That's really happening. Can we do an interview? Absolutely, someone help us. And no one would call back. It was just like left alone, and everything was gone, and all the stuff that was important to everybody else was just boxed up. We didn't have anything, and we were gonna be homeless and destitute. We didn't have any money, didn't have any credit, like nothing. And so when we wrote that song, The Streets Don't Lie, that's where it came from, was from that experience, was that I believe there's a lot of people in our nation that have been struggling financially. There's a lot of people that have been losing jobs and losing houses and losing modes of transportation, losing the things that they're important to them, that they depend on to survive. And I felt like God was like, you need to declare something out of your pain, out of what you're experiencing. You need to write out of this place, because this is real for you. And so that's the song, The Streets Don't Lie. And that's where the song comes from, is that what happens when you lose everything? That you really like, I don't need it, but I don't need it. And we don't care. But really, there's a certain sense of frustration and injustice when you lose something and it wasn't your fault. So people that suffered at Hurricane Katrina, people that have gone through natural disasters, people that have lost things, because hell itself hates humanity and God is in love with humanity, and hell hates that. When natural disasters and earthquakes and floods and famines and things that God does not want to see happen to rob human life, when hell vomits all over our existence, what do we do with that? And my friend Zach, he's a dude from Flint, Michigan, and he works for GM, and I got a bunch of dudes that are friends out there. They lost their jobs and they're laid off with a lot of other people. And stuff is hard, and times are tough right now. And I felt like, you know what, real Christianity is what happens when, it's just like Brennan Manning said. Anyways, there's a quote that, you know, most of our Christian lives isn't spent on the mountaintops, it's spent in the valley. And so it's like, for most people, when you're walking through the valley, where is God? You know? And so that was that song. And it's not my testimony in that the thing that brought me to the Lord, and it's such a gut-wrenching story to hear whoremonger. But like, The Streets Don't Lie was like one of those things. It was the one time
third gear.
It was the one time on this record when I started talking about it on the record, and I started crying. And I realized that I was actually connecting with a place of pain, because they recorded in the basement of that apartment we were staying in. We weren't at home when we recorded. So they came to a place that wasn't my house, and Eric and Charlie drove out, and we recorded in the bottom floor of this apartment that was empty. And so we recorded that song in the midst of that story. And what God showed me was that it's up to us as the people of God to declare, even though it looks like everything is shaking, that we're to declare Jubilee, and we're to declare restoration, and like we're called to like cancel debt, because like living under that pressure is hard for anybody.